Hey guys, welcome back everybody. Most of the people who is recently joined the networking field and who is totally new in the networking field has a lots of confusion about how to configure the IP addresses on the router. First of all, I'll let you know one thing, in networking operating system, if I talk about, you have a different operating system. You have a iOS normally, right? You have a iOS XR, you have a iOS XE, and you have a Nexus iOS as well as we have a different types of OS as well. So, but let's discuss the four one right now. So, if you want to configure the IP addresses right on the iOS router, we have a different ways. iOS XR has a different ways to configure the IP addresses. XC also have a different ways, and Nexus OS also has a different way to configure the IP addresses. But if I talk about the CCNP or CCNA enterprise, who is a totally new, like the network engineer who is totally new in this networking field, who is normally deal with the iOS, right? Like for example, the person is doing the CCNA and the CCNP enterprise, or either we can say the CCI enterprise, and they want to know that how to configure the IP addresses on the Cisco IOS router. So let's do it and let's do the lab for this one, because we are not talking about the XR because this is totally service provider, this is totally service provider, and this is totally data center. So it's a very advanced level. We'll discuss these things as well, how to configure the IP address on these two routers, as these three routers, these two routers and these switches as well. But in the next video, my focus is how to configure the IP address on the iOS router. So let me open my console. You can see this. This is the router number one. This is the interface. We have a 0/0. Okay, this is the one IP address that I want to allocate to that particular interface. This is the 10.0.0/8 is a subnet, and 1.1.2, that's IP address of this particular interface. At the same time, you can see that this is the MAC address of this particular interface, and this is the MAC address of this particular interface. So I have a console access right now of this guy. So if you see on the router one, I just need to go in the config terminal mode, because whatever the configuration you're going to do, you are going to do in the configuration terminal mode. Okay, what happened to this guy? Okay, so you just need to type the config terminal mode, and under the interface 0/0, you can see that this is the interface ID is a 0/0, and I can put the first keyword is called as the IP. When you define the IP keyword, it means that you are telling to this guy, hey, you want to configure the IPv4 addresses. The IP keyword itself represents that you are defining the IPv4 addressing. And then I'm saying that, hey, I need to define the address on this particular interface. The address will be 1.1.1.1. If you just put the enter over there, it will give you the incomplete command. It means that you need to define the subnet mask information for this guy. So if you put the question mark, he's asking, hey, what is the subnet mask for this guy? The subnet mask for this guy is a 255.0.0.0.0 and hit enter. By default, all the router interfaces is in down state. So you need to turn on this router interface. So you just need to put the no shutdown command. If you just have a look right now, if you just want to verify what IP addresses I have configured on that particular interface, a very simple command you have, show IP interface brief, right? I want to see the whatever the IP is configured on that particular interface, but not the detailed information. Look for the brief information. And now you can see that the IP address is configured 1.1.1 on this particular interface. And the method is what? It's a manual. Manual means what? A network engineer has manual configures this IP addresses, but the status is down right now. So you need to turn on this interface. You just need to go under the interface and say that no shutdown. Once I say the no shutdown, the interface will be up. I got the message now. It's changed state to the up. And now even if you have the same configuration, right? And show IP interface brief, I have a proper IP addressing on this interface. At the same time, let's do the configuration on the router number 2 as well. On the router number 2, you need to go in the config terminal mode and interface 0/0. I say the IP address will be 1.1.1.2/8. That's my subnet mask information, and no shutdown to just turn on the interface. And now if you want to verify the show IP interface brief command on the global configuration mode, it will throw the error message, right? You need to add the do keyword. So if you want to perform any kind of verification in the global configuration mode, you need to use the do keyword, and then you can put the show IP interface brief. Make sure that your tab keyword is not gonna work in the global configuration mode if you're using the do keyword. So you just need to put the do show IP interface brief, and I have a 1.1.2 IP address. And now even you can verify from here as well. So in the this mode, you cannot use the do, you just need to use the show IP interface brief, and now I can get the information. 1.1.2. So if I want to send the traffic from router 2 to router 1, I'll say the ping 1.1.1.1.1. So I'm sending the traffic from the 1.1.2 to the 1.1.1. So normally in that case, what happened? The router will create a packet. In this packet, we have a source IP address is 1.1.1.2 and destination IP is 1.1.1.1. So now the router 2 will send the ICMP request packet to the router 1, and router 1 will give the ICMP reply packet. And now everything is working fine. So this is the how you can configure the IP addresses. Let me write on this command on the notepad so that you can have a look. So you just need to go in the global configuration mode. Under the global configuration mode, what you can do that, you need to go on the interface IP addresses. The IP keyboard itself represents that you are defining the IPv4 address. And then you need to put the no shutdown command over there to just turn on the interface, because by default, router interfaces are down. But if I talk about the switches interface, by default, switch interface is up. IP address will be 1.1.2 now and /8 and no shutdown. That's how you can configure the IP address on the Cisco IOS router. Thanks for watching.